Well, it's finally winter, even though it's March here in the central Banner-Breckenjag, the central Brecon Beacons Mountains. There is snow on the ground, there is plenty of snow on the tops, and we are off for a wild camp. And I'm already knackered, and I've barely left the car park. I'm wearing my Scarpa Manta Tech GTX boots, and they weigh about 5 tons each. So it just feels an absolute slog walking in them. But we are going to pitch somewhere high up, somewhere above 800 metres. We're going to get to Penavan in time for hopefully a nice sunset. There's some really dramatic skies at the moment. And yeah, we're going to enjoy hopefully a nice night with some of my new winter camping gear, so it should be nice and warm and cosy. About 1.2 miles in now. It's been an absolute slog. Very slippery underfoot, really compact snow from all the people that have hiked up this way. But you might be able to see in the distance the long ant trail up from the main car park. People still come up and down on that trail. This trail is much quieter, but you have to walk up and then dip down and back up again, so it's a little bit more challenging. But the views are opening up now to the Black Mountain in the very distance. We're hoping to pitch somewhere up on the top there. It is absolutely glorious up here, so hopefully it'll be a good evening, but the views now are amazing. I keep stopping to admire the views, and because I'm unfit, but the views are absolutely incredible. What a stunning sky for it. I've been lucky the last couple of hikes I've done that the sky has been amazing, and today it's amazing. And we've got snow, so doubly good for photos and all the rest of it. So I've definitely taken a lot of photos, and we're heading up towards Corn D now, so it looks like it's a little bit foggy up there. Visibility's a little bit reduced, but hopefully it won't come any further and we'll still get some extremely good views from up there.
No, I'm with you.
Well, inside the tent now, we had a good walk up to Cornby and Evan. Mist and clouds coming over, a little bit of light snow and fog and stuff. And I realised I hadn't brought a torch or even a head torch. Just hadn't packed one, just really stupid. So I had to get pitched up as quick as I could really, because I couldn't really get pitched in too much dark. So I kicked some snow out of the way and pitched near the summit kind of this mountain. So about 820 odd metres, so my highest camp so far. And yeah, getting the tent pitch was pretty awkward. It's in a pitch first, it started snowing, and then the way I had to pitch it, like uphill into the wind and snow. By the time I was trying to get the mat sorted out, loads of snow had blown into the tent. All my gear is covered in snow. But it is what it is. We are in the tent. It's nice and cozy in here, but it's not the ideal tent to pitch in these kind of conditions really, because it's in a pitch first. But it is the Nordisk Svalbard 1 SI, so it is a very strong tent. Wind tested to 90 miles an hour, so obviously you can see there's a bit of wind now, but it shouldn't be any problem for this tent. The inner is really quite saggy, despite it being in a pitch first, so that is a bit annoying, but I couldn't really spend much time farting about trying to get it any taller. So I'm just going to relax a little bit because, yeah, send some messages, sort some things out, and I'll catch up with you in a bit. Okay, so situation update. It's about 20 past 7. It's nice and cozy in here. I'm in my RAB 900 Sunlight sleeping bag, which is comfort rated to -26, so that shouldn't be a problem. As you can hear, the wind has really started to pick up. It's blown the tent around there, and now the Svalbard one is a very tough tent, can handle a lot of wind, but it is not a 4-season tent, so the outer doesn't go particularly low. So I noticed on the zips on the door, just up there is what I thought was ice forming on the inside, but it wasn't. It's the amount of snow that's being blown underneath the outer, and the door is absolutely covered in snow, and the pressure of that snow is gradually pushing it through some of the zips. So I opened the door like an idiot, and the door was and just snow poured into the tent. So I guess that's why you have the snow skirts on 4-season tents, or you have outers that just go very, very low. So yeah, it's going to be quite an interesting night. It's going to be quite a long night, I think, at this rate, given the wind and the general conditions. I have obviously forgotten a torch of any description, so I'm going to have to use my torch on the phone when I get out later on to wander around. They give a bit of fog for a couple of hours, but they do give just a cloudy night, but there should be some visibility. So I will try and check to see how we're getting on later on, to see if I can get any night photos. But the one downside to this tent is that the outer door, the zips are really long way, so you kind of got to lean and your body right out of the tent to unzip it. And as soon as I do that, snow is just going to come flying into my face, pouring into the tent because I'm pitched head on into the wind, because that was the only way of pitching where I currently am. If I pitch any other way, the tent would just be all over the place, downhill, and just be a complete nightmare. So yeah, not an ideal scenario. And in terms of where I did pitch, the snow was really deep up here. I kept disappearing up to my knees in different places, so I couldn't even find grass apart from this one little patch here. So I didn't really have time or anything like to find any more kind of grass to pitch on. So yeah, it's interesting, that's for sure. Yeah, I double pegged the pegs that are into the wind, so hopefully they'll be absolutely fine. But it's really picking up now. Well, I'm just going to relax a bit more. I've got some Di Serrano, I've got a couple of flapjacks, so I'll look at the stack. But yeah, there's no way I could be trying any kind of cooking in these conditions in this particular tent. So yeah, I almost bought my stove because I had a pot noodle I could have taken as well, but I'm glad I didn't bother, because there's no way I could cook like this. I would just set fire to the tent and that would be game over. Quite a lot of moisture in the tent now. Got an issue with the vent that's right above my head. There's so much snow coming through the inside that it's melting above my head, where I'm keeping the tent quite warm and then dripping onto my head, so that is a bit of a problem, because that's going to be dripping onto my head and down the back of my neck as I try to sleep. Image quality is not great right now because my camera's getting a bit fogged up. One of them is anyway, but yeah, it is a cosy tent for winter camping, because you can zip the doors up and keep it nice and warm. But looking at the inner tent as I look around the tent, I think there's an awful lot of snow coming underneath the outer tent and hitting the inner tent. So yeah, great in high winds this tent, great in bad weather, but I don't think I'll be using it again in snow, because you just can't get the outer low enough to really keep the snow out. We are approaching that time where I've got to get out of the tent and go for a wee, and I'm not looking forward to it because it's windy. I haven't got a proper torch. I've got to take my phone. I've got to try and get the door unzipped, which is really difficult. Trying to check my shoes on, which is difficult in this tent as well. I do miss the space of a two-person tent. I'm definitely a convert to a two-person's tent now, so I don't know, maybe I need to find a two-person tent that's as strong as this one, that's not hideously expensive, but yeah, I'll have to get out, and I just don't want to. Every time I get the camera out, it just gets steamed up straight away, so that's why it's looking a little bit strange. But I made out the tent. I know it sounds obvious, but there's loads of snow out there. It's really deep. Almost disappeared up over my boots a few times. But luckily, if you stood carefully, it would just go above your boots, but wouldn't drop in. So yeah, I checked on the tent. I hadn't quite zipped the door properly, that's why so much snow was coming in. So it should be a bit better now overnight, because it's nice and zipped down properly and stuff. It is starting to snow again out there now. A bit of snow in the tent. Footprints have all disappeared from earlier as well, so the wind is drifting the existing snow across as well as the fresh snow. But yeah, hopefully I'll get a half decent night's sleep, and then fingers crossed there'll be some kind of sunrise or some kind of views in the morning. Really hoping it won't be mist and fogged out, because where we're pitched now, I have a fantastic view of the horseshoe for sunrise, so I really hope we get that. Anyway, I'm not going to do night photography. I cannot be bothered. There's not enough views out there to make it worthwhile, so I will just catch you in the morning. Wow, what a perfect morning. What a perfect spot to pitch. Right next to the Senate Khan, with views, as you can see behind me, of the central highest points in South Wales and the whole of the southern UK. Glorious sunrise, as you would have seen. And just views in every direction, absolutely magical. The tent did really well, actually. I was being very critical of it not being any good at snow, but that was entirely my own fault for not zipping up the door properly. Once I wrapped it, snow didn't come in, and it was really, really solid. Just look at those views. And I tell you what, this is where I was pitched, really exposed edge. So I was really glad to be in the Svalbard because the wind was howling past, but the tent was absolutely rock solid. So if you're going to be up here in those kind of conditions by yourself, you want a tent you can rely on, and fair play, it did really, really well. So yeah, definitely a keeper, that one. But it's about 7:45 now. Penyvan from just before sunrise was absolutely rammed with people. Has to be expected. But I'm going to start making my way back now. Yeah, just enjoy the views and capture a few more. I mean, it's just absolutely breathtaking up here. I can see why people do make the 4 a.m. start to get over sunrise, because it was absolutely brilliant. Not exactly leaving no trace, I'm leaving quite a big trace, but it's just where I kick the snow up. So you can see the views I had from the tent all the way west over towards the Black Mountain. There's the summit cairn, 824 metres, and there is the Bannabrackenyog horseshoe. And a bit of a cloud inversion going on south as well. So we're going to start heading back now, and we'll capture some views along the way and just enjoy this absolutely magical morning up in the mountains. It's not even too cold now, the wind's died down as well. So bit of a gamble they come up here, but couldn't have worked out any better. I really needed that. A night away and to climb in the snow could not be any better than this. Making solid progress now. We've followed the same route back now this last bit as we did on the way up. So we cut across beneath Corn Deer this time, so that bit was different. Nice deep powdery snow, so that was nice easy walking. And then picked up the track again, so we've had to descend and do a little bit of ascent back up this side now. We've almost finished that, and then it's just a home straight back to the car. The highest peaks now getting a few clouds over them, so visibility is probably really poor up there now. It's only 886 metres Penavan, but it is high enough to have changeable weather. It's high enough to pick up clouds, so visibility like we had this morning is not always guaranteed. So we were lucky to have such a great morning for it, and everyone I've seen has been really friendly this morning, really excited to see all the views in the snow, so really enjoying this walk. Feels like I've taken about 1,000 photos, hours and hours and hours of footage of all the views. So hopefully I've been able to edit that into something enjoyable. If you want to see more photos and all the rest of it, then follow me on Flickr or Instagram, and you can go to the website and you can actually buy some of my photos as well. I've got an account with Photo For Me where you can get them ordered and printed out really nicely. So yeah, haven't said a great deal on the walk back because there's just been so many people around, and I've been chatting to lots of people, so I haven't really done much filming in that sense. But yeah, an absolutely brilliant camp. Summit camping done right, I think, today. Just I thought about camping there for a long time, but yeah, these conditions are absolutely perfect. Anyway, I'm going to go now because there's more people walking towards me and I'm almost at the car. So a huge thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.